Hey everybody, it's Aviator from Rebel and Aviator's Out of Bounds video series. This is Out of Bounds solo video number 1, and today's subject is the Penn State Scandal and the NCAA Sanctions that were just handed down yesterday. Hope you guys enjoy it, and keep coming back for more from Out of Bounds. Disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Out of Bounds does not own most of the following footage.
The Executive Committee, the Division I Board, and I have agreed upon the following sanctions. First, the NCAA is imposing a fine of $60 million on the university, with the funds to be used to establish an endowment to support programs around the nation that serve the victims of child sexual abuse and seek to prevent such abuse from happening. This amount is the equivalent of 1 year's gross revenue of the football team.
I can understand the taking of money from Penn State, which is the annual gross income for the football program, and give it to or start a program that is to protect children from child abuse and to keep child abuse from happening. I can totally understand that sanction by the NCAA is fair and fine by me.
Second, Penn State football will be banned from bowl games and any other postseason play for 4 years.
An athletic sanction? Really? I mean, I can see it. You're the NCAA, and you're trying to tell Penn State that you can't do this, this, and this with their athletic program, but is this really an athletic issue? I mean, I don't know. When you get down to it, it's a legal and moral issue when you get down to it, but let's see where you're going with this, bro. You're the NCAA. I can trust you for now.
Third, Penn State's football team will have its initial scholarships reduced from 25 to 15 per year for a period of 4 years. In order to minimize the negative impact on student athletes, the NCAA will allow any entering or returning football student athletes to transfer and immediately compete at the transfer university, provided he is otherwise eligible. Further, any football student athlete who wants to remain at Penn State may retain his athletic grant and aid as long as he meets and maintains appropriate academic requirements, regardless of whether he competes on the football team.
All right, so now you're docking the school scholarships. I can see that, but I don't see where you're getting at taking scholarships away from future athletes, but then you're just going to tell the athletes that are already there, hey, you can stay if you're still eligible, but if you want to go, you can just leave. If you want to punish Penn State, I get it. You want to punish them, but you can punish the university. If you want to go for lack of institutional control, which is what this really is, you can say, hey, all right, Penn State, we're just going to stick the legal dogs on you and do things to your university. We can't just single out the football program because that's the easy scapegoat. Sounds familiar? Because Penn State did the same thing to Joe Paterno right after all this came out. Used him as the fall guy, and Joe Pa ended up losing his job.
Fourth, the NCAA vacates all wins of the Penn State football team from 1998 to 2011, and the records will reflect these changes.
Whoa. You're docking wins, or vacating wins, from 98 all the way to 2012. Let's see. That's 111 wins, bro. 112 if you count one of those was won by interim Penn State head coach after Joe Pa was fired. But 111 wins from the Penn State football program. That's now is when you're getting into the harsh area here. That's ridiculous. That's overkill. You've already tarnished. The school has already tarnished its own football program. You don't have to take Joe Pa's name and everything he did with his career from 98 when the incident started happening to now and just run it through even more mud than it's already been. The man is at rest. Let him lay at rest. Let him have his wins when this was going on. And again, I'm not condoning anything that happened at Penn State with Jerry Sandusky or anything, but you're going to penalize the football program. They might not even have known that this started in 98 or whenever. They got that from Sandusky or something. I don't know. But it's just to dock wins from the football program and from a legend of college football coaching, the coach, not the man, taking more from his legacy that's already been tarnished. I think now, Mr. NCAA, you're getting a little harsh now.
Fifth, the university athletic program will serve a 5-year probationary period during which it must work with an academic integrity monitor of the association's choosing.
Athletic program, 5 years probation, in which they must work with an academic advisor of the NCAA's choosing. Okay, so what are you exactly trying to do here? Because are you trying to relate academics and athletics like you try to do at every other school? Because you've made no correlation between the graduation rate of student athletes at Penn State and the athletics, therefore needing the correlation between an academic advisor and the probation for the athletic program. That correlation has never been made. So what are you really trying to do here? You're taking $60 million, you're docking them 10 scholarships over 4 years, and now you're giving them a 5-year probation in which they must work with an academic advisor. Are you trying to make a correlation that isn't there between academics and athletics at Penn State? Because last time I checked, neither of those were an issue in this case.
And finally, the NCAA is reserving the right to initiate a formal investigation and disciplinary processes to impose sanctions as needed on individuals involved in this case after the conclusion of any criminal proceedings.
So now the NCAA reserves the right to investigate further after all the criminal proceedings have gone on in the Penn State to get more out of the persons of interest in this case. Now let's try this. Look at this for a second. Jerry Sandusky, your perpetrator, is in jail and was sentenced to 400 and something years in prison. Okay, substantial. Mike McQueary, who last time I checked, did not get fired for his involvement or lack thereof from Penn State after Joe Paterno was fired for his lack of involvement or lack of standing up in this case. And Joe Paterno, who is passed away, may he rest in peace. So what are you going to do to them? Sandusky's in jail for 420-something years. McQueary probably already lost his job. And Paterno is gone and dead. So, and don't forget about the president and the administrators and the board of trustees at Penn State University. So what are you going to do with them after they're already beyond federal investigation? You're just going to reopen another investigation after the FBI and whoever else has looked into this and slap more onto the face of people who have already lost either nearly everything, their job, their credibility, and everything that they've already built their name and reputation on? Wow, dude, you're reaching for jurisdiction you don't have at this point. You are not the law. Let due process take its toll, and you, sir, as the National Collegiate Athletic Association president and chair, do your job looking after athletic violations, not legal, moral, and ethical ones.
Suspension of the football program would bring with it significant unintended harm to many who had nothing to do with this case.
So now you're going to try and defend not giving Penn State the death penalty. Really? This might be worse than the death penalty, but that blanket penalty you didn't want to enforce because it would bring unnecessary harm to those who had nothing to do with this case. You're doing that anyway, sir. By taking scholarships away from the football program and the university, that's hurting the university and the players and student athletes who were looking forward to playing with these new individuals, to bettering themselves and the team as they played for athletic success, which Penn State has had in recent years. And I understand that you want to take the focus away from football. However, when you put a 4-year bowl and playoff ban on this university, that also hurts the people who weren't involved in this case, because every player from now to this, if this past season was their senior year, to freshmen who are entering the team now, you are hurting them because now they have nothing to play for 4 years. And I guarantee you, whether they become injured or not, or if they ask for a 5th year of eligibility so they can actually have something to play for, you will not grant them a 5th year of eligibility. So you have now wrecked the meaning of these players' football careers now in college. You play for championships, you play for pride, you play for honor and glory for your school, you play for rivalry in college football, and to better yourself so you can reach the NFL later. Now you've taken nearly every foundation of that betterment out of the equation. So what's there to play for now? For more Out of Bounds sports coverage, go to outofbounds504.blogspot.com and follow us on Twitter at @OutofBoundsNOLA.